recently. And we know, we hear about that habit, everybody says small habits just make such a big powerful difference. And I had a real sort of visual visceral um, realization of this recently, because I've been using this program called InkScape. I'm rebranding, well, I'm creating brand visuals for my new rebrand, and I'm using this graphics program called InkScape. And what they have there is they have this one part of InkScape. It's a fantastic program, is and it's totally free. So if anybody wants to learn about graphics, please use Inkscape. I highly recommend it. It's similar to Illustrator, but this is the free version of Illustrator. So they have this thing called Lindemeyer systems, or L systems, and what that is like you just put in these equations, and it just repeats the same pattern. Each equation represents a pattern, and it repeats the same pattern over and over again to give you different patterns and designs. And Lindemeyer system was based on, I think, it's study of trees and branches and things like that. How nature, the fractal patterns of nature, how nature, the same things get repeated over and over again, and that's how nature creates. So it was his way of trying to sort of explain it mathematically. And I'm not a mathematician, but I discovered this system, and I've just been loving experimenting with it. And what you do is you put in an equation, and then you can start to change the variables very slightly. And you can change the length of each the branch, or you can change the angle, and you can just make small changes. And what happens is that, because I'm doing this randomly, because I'm not a mathematician, and so I don't know what impact the changes are going to happen, I am just testing. And what happens is that when you make a small change, and the pattern is repeated over and over again, so the first couple of iterations, when the pattern's only repeated once or twice, things can look quite nice, and it's very pretty, and you don't really notice any difference. But then if the pattern isn't if the equation isn't really generative, if it's not working, you end up with these really weird, grotesque patterns that just turn in on themselves, and they make no sense. And you only notice the chaos once that's been repeated, time and time and time and time and again. But you don't notice it initially. And that's the same thing with habits, because we don't notice the impact they make, the power of them in a day or 2 days or 10 days. It's only over time that you notice the huge impact. So it's like, it's not even making big changes, it's like making a really small change, just moving in the right direction. It can have a huge impact on your life. So and that's why I use this method of projecting forward, because when you're trying to make a change, you're not going to notice a difference in the first 6 months, or first few weeks, or 6 months even. Mind you, hopefully you will notice after 6 months, but it does start to build up. The momentum builds up, and the cumulative effect builds up. So that's all I wanted to share with you today, is the power of habits, and just making small changes. You don't have to, we think, oh, I'm going to make a big massive change when everything's in place and everything's going to shift very quickly. I believe it's more the small changes. It's making those small changes that are going to make all the difference. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope you're having a lovely day, and we will speak again soon.